Hello dear viewers and welcome to a new episode of DocTalk. You know that sometimes language and speech delay may be normal at some stages, but when it's linked to Down or Williams syndromes, it becomes a problem, especially for parents, if not the child. And today in DocTalk, we are pleased and honored to welcome Miss Maraheb Alqallaf to talk more about this kind of challenges and problems that faces the child, the parents, and the society as a whole. So stay tuned after this short break so we could talk about it. Welcome back, dear viewers, after this short break, and please join me to welcome Miss Maraheb Alqallaf. Welcome to DocTalk.
Thank you for having me today.
So let's jump into business and save time. So let's talk more about what is meant about general language and speech delay in children, especially now in these days that we face social media, smartphones. We have internal factors that jumping and joining the parents in with children's lives.
Definitely. So we know that every age comes with a certain set of skills. For example, at the age of 1, we expect the child to follow simple directions or commands like come here, no, look at me. And we also expect that the child maintains eye contact and responds to name.
Yes.
So when we see deficits and difficulty having those skills at the age of 1, we expect a general delay in the language.
Yes.
So delay is not normal, because we know from parents that, have a family history. They say his uncle or her auntie, had a language delay or speech delay, did not speak until the age of 3.
Yes.
It's not okay to wait, actually. So we need to find out if it is a genetic problem or it's just caused by, general delay, and they need a boost and a push to, master those skills.
Well, Ms. Maraheb, how can we distinguish between language delay and simple speech delay? Because there is symptoms and there is signs that this child has a problem, or as you said, if it's not genetic, it could be an external factor.
Definitely. So language is different than speech. Language means vocabulary that we use, how we put the vocabulary with proper grammar into a sentence, and we say the sentence to deliver a specific message.
Yeah.
Language can also include nonverbal cues, like the use of facial expressions,
Yes.
the tone of the voice,
Or hand gestures.
Exactly. So this is a nonverbal and verbal communication, and it's all incorporated under language.
Yes.
So anything that affects this specific domain, we say it's a language delay. Whereas speech delay includes anything that affects the clarity of the speech. It means the sounds, how we pronounce the sounds in the words.
Yes.
How we use our voices, because some people, they do have a breathy voice or a hoarse voice or a strangled voice, and it affects the resonance and it affects the tone and how they deliver the message. So this is speech. Anything that affects, again, this domain, we call it a speech delay. So that's basically the difference between language and speech delay.
Okay, how about those who live in bilingual houses?
Yeah.
Do they also suffer or face language delay?
Definitely, that's a really good question, honestly, because most of the kids in our society are bilinguals now.
Yes.
Because they're exposed to the helpers. The helpers speak a different language.
Private schools, education.
Exactly. They're exposed probably to screens where they learn a different or a second language.
Yes.
And how do we know if it's just a phase of learning the language or it's just a language delay? The delay actually exists in both languages.
Yes.
If we notice a delay in Arabic and delay in English, then we would know it's
a language delay.
It's a delay, exactly. Some people think producing certain sounds in one language and not in the other language, maybe it's a delay. It can be, but we have to look into the profile of the languages.
Yes.
It's very specific, it's very comprehensive. We have to find out the similarities of the sounds, like in Arabic and English, the R is there,
yes,
the L is there, but in specific sounds in Arabic, like the
kha and the
qa, the throaty sounds do not exist in English.
In other languages,
So if the first language is English with the child, then we do not expect the child would say the throaty sounds in Arabic. they might take some time to develop it because of the English influence on the Arabic.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a normal process until they master the second language, which is the English, the Arabic, then they're going to be good. But they need more practice so they can actually acquire it.
Okay, now let's dive into deep things. Let's talk about Down syndrome and how can language delay be affected. We know those with Down syndromes, they have physical limitations, they also have comprehensive limitations. How could language feature, what are the main language features in Down syndromes? How do they have language delay?
Sure. So let's talk first about what is Down syndrome. So Down syndrome actually is a genetic disorder. There is a presence of an extra set of chromosome 21, which changes the whole, composition of the body, changes the whole, let's say, physical appearance and the development.
The human appearance or the creation of
Exactly. And those differences actually affect other developmental domains like communication, motor skills, emotional skills, and cognition also, and adaptive skills. So the language specifically, when we talk about Down syndrome, what's most prominent that we notice in children with Down syndrome, they're very social. They have social drive. They love people.
Exactly.
You see them very friendly. They understand more than they express. So their understanding can be functional, can be good. They follow directions. They know their stuff in the house. They identify their items, but maybe they lack the vocabulary words to label their things. So that's one of the most important things that we have to focus on, or the goal that we need to focus on in speech therapy is improving their expression, improving how they put the words to express themselves and maybe label their emotions.
Okay. How about the Williams syndrome? We know now the features and the struggles and challenges in Down syndrome. Let's talk about now Williams syndrome. Let's explain it. What is Williams syndrome and how it's connected to language delay?
Sure. So Williams syndrome is another genetic disorder, which is having a deletion of almost 27 genes on chromosome 7, which again, anything that changes the formation of the chromosomes and the genes actually changes the appearance of the human or the baby. So what's common, Williams syndrome and Down syndrome, they're both genetic disorders. They do have special features actually. And if we compare both, we see the different eyes. Like in Down syndrome, they do have almond-shaped eyes. And
the thick jaw that affects also the
speech. And underdeveloped chin. It does exist in both cases for Down syndrome and Williams syndrome. The differences in both, if you notice in Down syndrome, they do have smaller mouth with enlarged tongue. So automatically we expect that they're going to have trouble pronouncing sounds, right? In Williams syndrome, it's the opposite. They have wider mouth, but underdeveloped chin, small chin. When you have a wider mouth, you expect that you're going to see differences in the teeth. So they're going to have spaced out teeth. And again, anything that changes the teeth or the palate or the jaw, it's going to affect the speech clarity. And specifically Williams syndrome, they're very overly friendly, like very, very friendly. You notice they're very fluent. They can say sentences, longer, complex sentences, but their comprehension lags behind. So you will notice saying big words, longer sentences, but they do not actually comprehend what they're saying.
So let's say that they are mentally not developed like Down syndrome children.
If you're talking about cognition, it's very specific to the case, but the opposite is Down syndrome, they do comprehend. Williams syndrome, they lack the comprehension.
Okay. And now what is the difference between the two in terms of communication? You talked about the Williams, they speak longer sentences, but how about the communication? Do they understand the language?
They do understand the language at a certain level, And when communication is affected in Williams syndrome, it affects the pragmatics. So what I mean by pragmatics is the social language skills. We know when you're trying to be social with others, you have to have certain boundaries, right? We have to initiate an appropriate topic. We stay on the topic. We take turns. And that's what it's affected mostly in children with Williams syndrome. As I said, because they're overly friendly, so they think it's okay to hug people.
They are emotional creatures.
Exactly. They're very emotional. They're happy. They like to express themselves more than listening to others, so they can take turns.
Okay, Ms. Maraheb, I would like to keep talking about these kind of delays, and we will know after this short report, we will know the medical and linguistic aspects of these delays and, let's say, abnormalities. Can we call them abnormalities? Or
I would say differences.
Differences. Let's label them as differences. So, my dear viewers, please stay tuned and enjoy the next report. Dear viewers, with Ms. Maraheb Alqallaf, we talk about speech and language delay. It is a very important subject, especially in the last 15 years. We see a lot of focus on that matter. As you said, the majority of kids now are bilingual.
Right.
That puts them at risk of being speech and language delay cases. So let's talk about medical and linguistic aspects or interference in these matters. What kind of medical tests help in diagnosing language delay or speech delay?
So for language delay, we focus on parent interview. We need to know the background history for the child, the medical history, if the child was born preterm, the pregnancy of the mom. We need to know if the child went to the NICU, the intensive unit, when the baby was born. We actually act like investigators.
Yes.
So we need to know any medical aspect, any genetic history in the family. So we can come up with a diagnosis. The tests that we usually use is standardized tests. Standardized tests mean the test is based on research. It's scientifically proven, so it can show the skills of the child, if the child is within the average range, if the child is below the average or above average. So what I mean by average is, the research, or while developing this test, they do collect some sample and different kind of population from different backgrounds, and they do assess them and see the skills that occur at a certain age. And then they develop this test. So as I mentioned earlier in the interview, I said at a certain age, certain kind of skills, certain set of skills has to emerge.
Yes.
So maybe at the age of 2, the child.
Okay. تقدرين maybe at the age of 2. Okay.
Okay.
أنا عشان لأن حق المونتير.
So we know at the age of 2, the child produces 2 words in a sentence: water, mommy, play, car. They understand simple questions like, what is this? Who is this? Where is my toy? And they follow directions, more, I would say,
simple directions, a simple
2-step directions at the age of 2.
Instructions.
Yes. So it's like close the door, pick up your shoes. So that's 2-step.
Yeah. Yes. Eat this. Yeah.
Yes. So for medical assessments, we use the standardized test and clinical observation. So clinical observation, I see the parent-child interaction, how they play with each other. Is the mom having difficulty understanding the child's cues? Is the dad, do not know how to play with the child?
Yes.
So all of this I have to see, so I can come up with a proper diagnosis and see the child's weaknesses and strengths.
Okay, so as you said, it's more like an investigation.
Exactly.
Scratching for family history and medical history to see if this is genetic or psychological, or it's like something novel, as they call, something new that intervened with the child development. So my next question: are speech problems different between Down and Williams syndrome medically? We talked about the tests.
Right.
are these tests applied on normal children or only for Williams and Down syndrome children?
The tests are general, so they're okay to be administered for different kind of populations, especially in the children's population. And I would like to add one more thing in terms of the medical tests. So for especially for Down syndrome, because we know when the mom gets pregnant at a certain month, they do actually an ultrasound to check for Down syndrome.
Yes.
To check the spinal fluid in the back of the neck of the child. So it's a standard just to check for any kind of risks. And with age, actually with the mom's age, we do expect that the chances of getting a baby with Down syndrome increases. Exactly. So actually, with the modern science and modern medicine, we do check for everything before the baby is born.
So that for mommies who are in pregnancy, that you can take precautions and you are prepared for this kind of syndromes or cases that is coming to you.
Yes.
Okay, my next question is, what is the role of speech therapists in the following these children? Okay, now you are a therapist. You receive the case. How do you work with it?
So I do a lot of things actually as a speech language pathologist or therapist. I'm a coach for the parents. I support them emotionally. I do treat the child, diagnose and treat the child, identify weaknesses and strengths to build this very individualized therapy plan. And the therapy plan is not fixed. It's not like a cookbook, you know. It's very specific to every child, and I cannot generalize this this plan for everyone.
So each condition is different from the other, and each plan is different. So you are working with something new and unpredicted each time.
Exactly.
So you're more like a psychiatrist here in this case, not just a therapist.
Yes. So I do everything actually.
So you're taking control of the whole situation from all aspects. And now, from your point of view, when it is early therapeutic intervention recommended? Okay, you received it or you noticed it. Is it okay to intervene earlier or in certain stages?
So based on research and based on the evidence, we need to start as soon as possible.
What if the parents are in denial? They don't want to.
I mean, we do our best to help the parents, and we do present some data for the parents, resources so they can read. But at the end, it just depends on the parents' decision, and we cannot actually force them to do, you know, what we think it's the best. But we do actually help them and be proactive to the child's benefit.
Yes.
Because if you read the research or read the evidence, you're going to see that the most important years of the child's life is the first 3 years.
Exactly.
That's when you, or I would say in general, we call it the early intervention age, because the first 3 years of the baby's life is very important to acquire the skills, because early intervention actually reduces the severity of the disorder. If the child has severe communication disorder, having early intervention actually reduces the severity when they grow up, and actually it empowers the child to express himself or herself. It helps the parents to accept the diagnosis, and it helps the parents to know how to interact and deal with the child.
Okay, interesting. So, Ms. Maraheb, we're going to keep talking about the language and speech delay, but we need to take a break. And after the break, we're going to enjoy one of my favorite segments, Myth or Fact. So please stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers, after this short report. I'm joined by Ms. Maraheb Alqallaf to talk more about speech and language delay. So now we're going to start Myth or Fact segment. So my myth number 1 is a child who does not speak at the age of 2 must have a syndrome.
Not necessarily. No, it can be just a normal delay unless the baby is born with multiple conditions. So that the definition actually of a syndrome is having multiple conditions at the same time that affects the child's development. So
it's a myth.
It's a myth, yes.
Okay, let's label it as a myth. Now, myth number 2, a child with language delay cannot express feelings.
They do actually express feelings. And in a different way, I would say through either their behavior. So a child who throw himself or herself on the floor, it means they're frustrated or angry.
Yeah.
Or through the facial expressions, non-verbal cues. Yeah. So that's actually
they could get grumpy, and
they can look cute also.
Yeah, they could look cute, and that's deceptible.
Yes. So it is a myth. They do have the ability to express their emotions.
Okay. Myth number 3, assistive devices or applications do not help in improving speech.
Oh, I love the use of AAC, augmentative and alternative communication devices. They actually support communication development, and it does not replace verbal language. It supplements communication skills.
What kind of appliances and devices that you use in your clinic?
So we use, or I do use a lot of time, tablets to communicate through special apps. And so actually it's a wide field when we talk about AAC, and it can be low tech, which means low technology, the use of pictures, like PECs, picture exchange to label or identify something. Or maybe it can be through writing. It can be through, you know, your phone, text to speech, or speech to text. So this is actually part of AAC.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, my next myth is intervention after 6 years of age is useless. This is, let's say, delayed intervention.
It's not. Every age counts.
Okay.
Whenever you start, it's a good thing to do, but the goals can be very different. It is recommended to start earlier, but having therapy at any kind of age is really good too.
Okay. It's not a problem to be late.
Oh, it's not. It's completely not a problem.
But the process or the diagnosis or the way to, let's say, solve the problem or to make it less is going to be, let's say, harder than...
Yes, to make it less, it's going to be harder because early intervention is key. And the first 3 years of the child's life is very important because of the child's neuroplasticity, which means the flexibility of the child's brain to acquire new skills and compensate for any occurring deficits.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Okay, my next myth, children with syndromes do not enjoy group activities.
Oh, they love it. They love it, definitely. So group activities actually give them the opportunity to interact, to socially interact with others.
And to develop their skills.
Exactly. A lot of times we see children going to family gatherings where they learn a new word and they come home and they say this word to the mom or the dad. And they're like, where'd you learn that? Yeah, exactly. So socializing actually helps to develop the language.
Okay, that's important for children. Okay, my next myth and final myth for this segment, a child with Down cannot be trusted with simple responsibilities.
Oh no, with proper training, with you know, consistent practice, they can actually be very independent and do things independently.
I remember I used to have a student in my middle school. She had the appearance of Down syndrome, but she was a very normal girl with straight grades, and she was active also on basketball teams. So she was normal. She was all normal, but the physical appearance is labeled as Down syndrome.
Yes.
But other than that, she was a normal girl with normal, except the voice, it was a little bit thick. Other than that, she was not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the cognitive level, actually, and their communication and other skills and their intellectual ability also. If they have functional and really good skills, they can actually be very independent.
And also mingle with the society and act as normal individuals in one social group.
Exactly.
In addition to holding responsibilities for kids with Down syndrome, do they function normally after let's say, graduation from university?
Definitely. See, I studied in the States and I worked briefly in one of the special needs schools. And one of the most important things that they teach actually in school, how to handle money, how to buy, how to count the money, and how to function independently, especially when, you know, trying to move from one area to another using the train or the bus. So they actually train
Prepare
children.
them, let's say,
Exactly.
prepare them for
So
the
children with autism or children with Down syndrome, Williams syndrome, and any kind of genetic disorders or neurodevelopmental disorder, they do actually have a life experience training. So they can actually detach from their parents and be very independent,
yes.
To go to work. Because I saw most of them, they do actually have, I would say, a job that suits their ability, their cognitive ability, their skills in general, and it helps a lot to be very
extremely skillful, more than normal people.
Yes.
So in the last few months, especially here in the Ministry of Information, Kuwait Television, I personally noticed that the ministry started to recruit, or let's say that the civil services started to nominate and recruit those with Down syndrome or other kind of disabilities, and try to make them proactive socially.
That's really good. That's very that's a very excellent action actually to do, because it helps them to be part of the society.
Yes, and not to be outcasted.
Exactly. It's helping them to be an active citizen.
Exactly. Right? Well, Ms. Maraheb, thank you very much for joining us in Myth and Fact segment. We're gonna keep talking and discuss these kind of difficulties, and right after this short break, so stay tuned. Well, my dear viewers, welcome back again, and unfortunately we reached the end of our episode today with Ms. Maraheb Alqallaf. Any final words?
Early intervention is the key to reduce any severity of the disorders, and don't be scared, dear parents. You're not going to be judged. We're here to support you and help you actually in your journey.
Well, that's very, very good words to tell the parents, especially those who are watching, to monitor their children and start early intervention to protect your children in the future. So thank you for joining us again on DocTalk, and until next time, enjoy your day.